English Flow podcast.
From Speak English Flow Daily. Hello, English learners, and welcome back to the English Flow podcast, your go-to podcast for everyday English, natural conversations, and simple listening practice for daily life.
Have you ever seen someone at work who is genuinely excellent at their job? Hardworking, organized, always delivering, but somehow nobody seems to notice them?
The quiet hero in the corner. Great work, clean reports, always on time, and somehow still invisible.
Invisible. That is exactly the word. And I think a lot of English learners know this feeling. You work hard, you understand your job well, you have good ideas, but when the meeting starts, your English suddenly disappears. It hides, and so do your ideas.
And the problem is not your intelligence. The problem is not your skills. The problem is that the sentence carrying your idea is a little too small, a little too tired. And a tired sentence cannot carry a good idea very far.
So today, we are fixing that. This episode is about how to speak better at work in English. Real phrases, real role plays, the vocabulary that helps your ideas become visible. In meetings, in feedback conversations, when you disagree professionally, and when you need to ask a question without feeling embarrassed.
And a quick note, today's episode sits at a B1 and B2 level. We use clear, conversational English throughout, but we also introduce 6 powerful B2 workplace words, and we will explain every single one naturally in context as we go.
If this kind of practical workplace English is exactly what you need, please like this episode and subscribe. And write in the comments, which of today's 6 words do you most want to use at work? We will tell you the words very soon.
All right, let's give your ideas better sentences.
Let's start here. You can be excellent at your job and still not be seen. And that feels unfair, because it is.
Imagine someone who finishes every task on time, helps colleagues quietly, writes solid reports, checks every detail, does everything right, but in meetings, says almost nothing. They're thinking, my work will speak for itself.
That sentence sounds very noble, but here is the reality. At work, people are busy. They may not notice every detail of what you are doing, unless you also communicate it. Your work may be excellent, but sometimes your work needs a microphone.
And the word that gives your work a microphone is proactive. Proactive means you take action early. You do not wait for someone to tell you every step. You notice something, you think ahead, and you share your ideas before you are asked.
Being proactive is not about being loud or interrupting everyone. It is about showing up before the problem becomes a crisis. It is saying, I am paying attention and I want to help.
Let's practice this. I am the employee. Leo, you are the manager. I've been thinking about the project. I want to be more proactive going forward. If I notice something that could help the team, I'd like to share it earlier rather than waiting.
I appreciate that. What kind of things have you been thinking about?
I noticed we often wait until the end of the week to discuss problems. Maybe we could have a short check-in midweek so small issues do not become bigger ones later.
That is the difference. Not tell me what to do, but I'll take a proactive approach and bring some options. One sentence, and suddenly the room sees you differently.
Now, some learners hear speak more, and they start talking faster, saying more, and somehow the idea gets completely lost inside the sentence.
The meeting marathon. A person starts with one small point, and 10 minutes later, everyone has forgotten the question.
Speaking better at work is not about speaking more. It is about speaking clearly. And the word for that is articulate. To articulate means to express your thoughts clearly, in a way that people can follow and understand. No word confetti, no scattered sentences. Organized, clear, purposeful.
And here is something important. Articulate does not mean perfect. You can make small grammar mistakes and still be articulate if your message is clear. Many learners wait for perfect English before they speak. But if you wait for perfect, you may stay silent for years. And silent is the most expensive choice.
Let's practice. You are in a meeting. There is a problem on the table. You have an idea, but you need a moment to organize it.
I'd like to take a moment to articulate my idea clearly. I think the issue is not the deadline itself, but the number of approval steps before the deadline. If we reduce one approval step, we may be able to finish on time.
That's interesting. So you're saying the delay is coming from the approval process, not the work itself?
Exactly. The work is ready. The approvals are the bottleneck.
Clear, calm, easy to follow. And that full idea came from one organized sentence. Not a long speech, just a clear thought, delivered well.
Now, let's talk about one of the most common and most feared moments for English learners at work. Someone explains something in a meeting. Everyone else seems to be nodding, and you are nodding too, but inside, you are completely lost.
The international workplace nod. I understand nothing, but I will nod and hope someone sends notes later.
Many learners feel embarrassed when they do not understand. They think asking a question makes them look weak or unprepared. But here's the truth. Asking a clear question often makes you look more focused. It shows you are listening carefully and you want to understand properly.
So instead of saying, I don't understand, which is honest but a little flat, you can say, could you clarify that for me? To clarify means to make something clearer. You are not saying you are lost. You are asking for a cleaner explanation. That is a very different energy.
Or, I'm not sure I followed that last part. Could you clarify the main point? That sentence feels human and professional at the same time. So, we need to align the internal timeline with the client-facing expectations before we revisit the delivery framework and finalize the post-launch communication strategy.
I'm sorry. I want to make sure I understood that correctly. I'm not sure I followed the part about the timeline. Could you clarify the main point?
Of course. Basically, we fix our internal plan first, then we update the client after launch.
That makes sense. Thank you for clarifying.
Nobody panicked. Nobody disappeared. And notice, asking that one question probably helped everyone else in the room too. One brave question saves the whole meeting.
And coming up in just a moment, we are going to tackle the trickiest part of workplace English. How to share an opinion without sounding rude. How to disagree without destroying the room. And the 3 versions: aggressive, too soft, and just right. Stay with us.
Opinions at work. They are useful. They are necessary. And they can go very wrong if the language is off.
There are 3 ways people express opinions at work. Too direct. I think this is not good. Too soft. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly we could think about something else. Sorry. And the right level, which uses the word perspective.
From my perspective, this is one of the most useful B2 phrases in workplace English. Perspective means your way of seeing or understanding something. So, when you say from my perspective, you are sharing your view without attacking the other person. You are not saying they are wrong, you are saying this is how I see it.
From my perspective, this approach may need some adjustment. May need some adjustment is soft and professional. It says something could be better here, without saying this is bad. That is the difference between a brick landing on the table and a polite suggestion coming through the door.
Let's show all 3 versions. I present a plan. Mia, you disagree. I think we should launch the campaign next Monday.
No, that's a bad idea. We should not do that.
My campaign feelings are hurt.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Possibly we could think about something different, if everyone wants. Sorry.
That sentence arrived with a blanket and hid under the desk.
I see why that could work. From my perspective, though, the timeline may need some adjustment. If we launch Monday, the team may not have enough time to review everything properly. What if we moved it to Wednesday and used Monday and Tuesday for final checks?
That is the one. Notice what happened there. She did not say bad idea. She said from my perspective. She gave a reason. She offered a solution. That is assertive.
Assertive means confident and clear, but still respectful. Not aggressive, not passive. The middle path. Aggressive is, no, you're wrong. Passive is, oh, never mind, forget I said anything. Assertive is, I see your point, but I have a different perspective.
Assertive people do not push others down. They bring their own idea forward. They sound steady, and at work, steady is the most respected sound in the room.
Last situation, and one of the most delicate. Giving feedback.
Feedback can be incredibly helpful, or it can make someone feel defensive for a week. The difference is almost entirely in the language.
The basic version. This is wrong. Very clear, very short. Zero cushion. It lands like a heavy object on the table.
A much better version. Can I offer some constructive feedback? Constructive means helpful and focused on improvement. You are not just criticizing. You are trying to build something better. Construct, constructive. Build. Constructive feedback is feedback that builds, not feedback that breaks.
You can also say, I have a constructive suggestion that might help improve this. That sounds gentle. You are not pointing at a mistake. You are offering something helpful.
Let's do one final scene. Mia, give me feedback on my report.
First, I really like the structure of this report. The information is clear and well organized. Can I offer some constructive feedback on the opening section?
Of course. Go ahead.
I think the main point could appear a little earlier. If we put the key result in the first paragraph, the reader understands the message faster.
That makes sense. So not, this is wrong, but here is how we can make it stronger.
Exactly. And notice that the feedback included a reason. The reader understands faster. That is what makes feedback constructive. It does not just identify the problem, it gives direction. And nobody had to have a difficult afternoon because of it.
Let's do a calm vocabulary tour of today's 6 workplace words. Each one explains simply, with a sentence you can use straight away.
Proactive. Taking action early, thinking ahead. Not waiting to be told every step. I want to be more proactive in meetings. I'll take a proactive approach and prepare a few options.
Articulate. To express your thoughts clearly so people can follow and understand. I want to articulate my idea clearly. She is very articulate, meaning she explains things clearly and confidently.
Clarify. To make something clearer or easier to understand. Could you clarify the main point? Thank you for the clarification. Asking for clarification shows you are listening carefully, not that you are confused.
Perspective. Your way of seeing or understanding something. From my perspective, this approach may need some adjustment. I understand your perspective. That's an interesting perspective.
Assertive. Confident and clear, but still respectful. The middle path between aggressive and passive. I want to be more assertive. She is assertive but respectful. I'm working on my assertiveness.
Constructive. Helpful and focused on improvement. Builds rather than breaks. Can I offer some constructive feedback? I have a constructive suggestion that might help.
6 words. Proactive, articulate, clarify, perspective, assertive, constructive. These are the words that separate someone who has a good idea from someone whose good idea is actually heard.
And here is something worth carrying with you after this episode. Speaking better at work is not about becoming a different person. It is not about being the loudest in the room or the most impressive. It is about making sure that the value you already bring, the quality you already have, can actually be seen. Your ideas are good. They just deserve better sentences. And now you have them.
You know what I think is the most powerful thing about today's episode? None of these words are about pretending to be someone you are not. Proactive, articulate, assertive. They are all about letting the real you come through more clearly. In a language that is not your first. In a room that can sometimes feel intimidating. That takes courage. And these words are your tools.
So the next time you are in a meeting and you have something to say it. Use the phrase, "From my perspective, could you clarify?" I want to be more proactive. I have some constructive feedback. One sentence. That is all it takes to change how a room sees you.
And here is your challenge for the comments today. Write one sentence using any of today's 6 words. It can be about work, about your English learning, about anything. Just use the word. Practice makes permanent.
And if this episode helped you, please like it, subscribe, and share it with a colleague or friend who wants better English at work. This is exactly the kind of episode that makes a real difference in real professional situations.
This was the English Flow podcast from Speak English Flow Daily. Your ideas are good. Your English is growing, and you deserve to be heard.
Take care of your confidence. Take care of your English. We will see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. You've got this.
Your English learning journey doesn't stop here. Continue building your confidence and fluency with the next episode of the English Flow podcast. Click the next video and keep progressing, one conversation at a time.